Welcome to Landria Anka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live your beautiful, awesome life. You know, an absolutely beautiful, perfect, abundant, happy, joyful life with some ups and downs, with some illnesses, with some deaths, with some, challenges will come, making life that much more awesome, experiencing things that we don't get to experience on the other side quite like this. You know, it brings diversity into our lives. Diversity, differences. If everything was blue, there would be no color blue. We wouldn't know what blue was. So, I want to talk today about receiving and really, self-sacrifice. What's self-sacrifice? Well, you might say, well, that would be Mother Teresa. I want to just share some things with you about that. I want to share a little story because I want you to ask yourself if there's any part of you that's like this. Now, a lot of you are probably so far away from this it isn't funny. But maybe you should look at other people and say, okay, what is going on with this other person that maybe I can understand better. And that is, I came from a very giving, self-sacrificing family. Lovely people that would do anything for you. You know, the kind where, you couldn't get up to get anything. No, I'll get it. Not that my parents didn't make us get up and get stuff, but my dad was a very, strong giver, self-sacrificing person. And that was a wonderful way to grow up. But let me share something about that because I want you to really get it in your head about what that really is. And that there has to be a balance with that. And the reason why is we all want to receive. We all want to receive. Now, I just read a list of poor and middle class versus wealthy, rich and independent people. And one of the things that it said is poor people have usually issues with receiving. They don't receive well. And rich people have no problem receiving. My father was one of those people that couldn't receive. He just found it difficult, and he almost took the joy out of, giving him anything because, he wouldn't take it, or no, he'd almost get mad because you were giving him something. And there are people that are so self-sacrificing and giving that they actually put their own needs on the back burner. And sometimes those never come to the forefront. My dad's never did. He put his needs and his dreams on the back burner to the point where when it was finally time, when he could finally go do what he wanted to, which, by the way, was when my mom died and he was in his late 70s, it was pretty much too late. His health had declined and he started to get operations, so it was very difficult for him to travel. He made a couple trips. He should have moved to Santa Barbara. That was his dream. I was pushing him to do that. And he should have done it many, many years ago. Many years ago. So my father never lived out his dreams. He spent a lifetime that sort of declined emotionally because he was very unhappy, because giving at some point can be a detriment if you're not taking care of yourself. Because I know there are a lot of you that want to give, and you're actually exhausted. You're exhausted. And you're not doing things for yourself because you always put everybody else first. I always tell you this, when the plane's in trouble, you better put that breathing mask on your face first, because if you pass out, you can't help anybody. And my dad continued to help, and went into a very unhappy place in his older age, and was very resentful when he actually was the one always making those decisions. He could have done so many things and put his foot down. And a lot of you don't do that. You put your kids first to the point where maybe you're not really doing them a big favor. Maybe you need to draw the line and say, you know what, Dad needs an hour or two alone. And then you go and meditate and you say, no one is to come into this room. I need silence. Or, you know, we're not going to go do this thing. I need to go take care of myself. I need to go work out, or whatever you need to do. It doesn't mean neglecting others. It means that you're putting let's say you're forming rules for others to know that there has to be a balance for you and a respect for your needs too. Because some people will take, especially if they know that that's your personality, until it actually drains you. And I know people like that. They're exhausted and they don't say anything, and they're telling me what, you know, and then they take advantage of me in this, and I said, well, who's doing that? And these people are very unhappy. Very unhappy. So what part of giving is good? The other people really just become spoiled and take advantage and not really learning the give and take balance. And the person who's giving is so exhausted and resentful and angry. And I know some people that do this. There's so much anger inside, and then when they explode, the other people don't know why. Because they won't come out and say, I need my space. Quit taking advantage of me. But then they keep giving. So this whole thing of, you know, selflessness and giving and all this stuff, that's great. That's great. In fact, it will give you unbelievable purpose. It feels really good to help other people. But what are you doing for you? And are you drawing that line and say, listen, these scales are tipping. And I need to go on a trip. And I need to spend that money for myself this time. And maybe we're going to do some things that I want tonight, or we're going to see the movie that I want to see. And so many people are conditioned to think that that is selfish. And it's not. I think you know in your heart where there's a balance. And when you start to feel like you're taken advantage of, it's time to speak up. Not in a negative way, but to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Or, I can't give you that money. I'm sorry. You don't have to explain anything to anybody. Because I want to share something with you, because you know I feel very strongly about this, that even the negative, supposed negative experiences other people have are their growth. It's growth for them. If you try to interfere with that, you're just delaying something that's going to happen anyways. So the question is, you know, exactly what are you doing? What are you accomplishing by doing that? Probably not a lot. You're just really delaying this final lesson that they need to learn, that, you know, they need to respect others' turf. So you're not going to fix anybody. The giving doesn't make somebody love you anymore. In fact, it probably makes them disrespect you because they don't think you respect yourself. And when you start to feel bad or angry or taken advantage of, if you are not putting your foot down at that point, there's going to be an imbalance. That other person is going to be trained that they can do that. And they don't know any better, and there's some people that'll just take. So, you know, hey, Oprah Winfrey says no when relatives ask for money. Because sometimes they just think she's, you know, a bank. And she helps a lot of people that need it, that appreciate it. And it feels good for her and for them. So don't be the giver and the self-sacrificing person to the detriment of your joy, of your happy life, and seeing my father decline and his spirit actually just, you know, it went lower and lower and lower. And I think it killed him in the end. I think that he was ready to leave because he just didn't see the purpose anymore of being here. And of course he had physical pain, which I think his unhappiness contributed to that. Don't let that be you. There's a beautiful balance for you that allows you to give and feel good about that, that other people that are deserving, that are ready for it, that need that help, should receive it, and others will learn lessons by you saying no. And there's going to be some happiness all around that because you're going to feel good, your energy's going to be up, you're going to be feeling like, wow, life is fun again, and you're going to feel good and empowered too by saying, I need to do this for myself. Life is to live. Throw those rules out the window about how everything should work. Squirreling money away all the time. Sometimes you just have to be a little bit dangerous. All right, I'm sending you light and love. I hope you'll receive that. Abundance, prosperity, health, joy. Go into that room, shut the door, and tell somebody you're going to meditate for 2 hours. Namaste.